Oh, love him. I got a great story on Andre. So it's Stan Hansen and I versus Andre and Giant Baba. So Stan says to me, Baba wants you to start with him. When you have your back to Andre, turn around and chop Andre as hard as you can. I said, okay.
Right.
So we start. It's in a small little town. And it wasn't really even booked. I think they threw the match together.
Right.
Right? So we're circling. I turn around. I hit Andre as hard as I can. Whack! He looks down, looks at me, looks at Baba, the tag. I turn to my corner because Baba's walking over.
Right.
I turn, I look, Stan's on the ground laughing. I said, okay, I got two ways I can get out of this. One, I can take my beating, or two, I could roll right out of the ring, but then Andre's not going to like me, and if he does not like you, and he disrespects you, you're screwed.
Yeah.
So I turned around, and I thought he was doing me a favor. I turned around, he hits me with a chop, so I take a bump. And I had, I took a bump and rolled to my stomach. He picks me up, he chops me in my back, he chops me in my stomach, chops me in my thigh, chops me in my leg, chops me in my shoulders. He must have chopped me like 20 times or 25 times.
Right.
Then he finally picked me up, he shot me to Baba. Baba puts his big boot up. I fall down, I'm looking up, I see Andre standing above me looking at me. Puts his elbow up, drops his elbow. 1, 2, 3, and you know what he does? Thanks, boss. I said, well,
respect.
The welts were worth it.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to get put with the Sheepherders.
Yes.
And Dusty did that for me. And Dusty said to me, he said, kid, you're not going to be in the ring as much working as you will be outside the ring watching. He goes, I'm trying something with you. He goes, I've told Luke and Butch that every time they do stuff like get heat and explain to you why. So it literally in the matches, Luke and Butch would get heat and they go, we're getting heat, we're gonna work his arm. Watch how we work his arm. And then they'd go in the ring and work his arm.
Right.
And then he goes, okay, time to give a babyface a shine, a hope spot. And they would be in there working, stop, and then the babyface would come out, bam, bam. They'd both be bumping, then they cut them back down and they'd roll out of the ring and go, that's called a hope spot. That means you're giving hope to the babyface, but then you stop them back. It was a good 6 to 8 months of just nothing but learning.
So Dusty obviously saw the potential in you and wanted you to be with these guys. So he knew that you would learn from them. So that's
plus I got heat because a big, tall blonde who was calling themselves New Zealand's son.
Right.
Being with two New Zealanders. Here's what people don't understand about Jim Cornette. Not only is he super creative, he can help any talent at any time with just being with them and talking for them.
Yep.
He had that gift. I have so much respect for Jim Cornette because of what he brings to the wrestling business. Not only from a creative standpoint, but also from how to develop characters.
You worked with him a lot down in OVW, right?
Yeah, in OVW.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
And I did. And I tell you, Jim Cornette and Danny Davis ran OVW great. Did we have our, times where we disagreed to agree and stuff like that? Yeah, but I'll tell you, I have nothing but respect for Jim Cornette, how creative he is. When Paige talked to Eric Bischoff, and Eric said, yeah, sure, let me meet him. And I met Eric.
What'd you think of Eric, first impression?
I liked him.
Okay.
I did like him. Little funny story about Eric is I went out to Phoenix and then we went out and because he didn't know me and I didn't know him, and we sat and had a couple of beers, and he actually asked me, he said, how'd you get into business? And I gotta tell you, Eric Bischoff's a very smart man. And I give him so much thanks too for giving me an opportunity. How many guys stepping away from the ring get an opportunity to actually help run a company? Very few. And Eric gave me that opportunity, and I'm forever thankful for him for giving me that opportunity. Because he didn't know me, and I didn't know him. And one thing he did say, though, as we were drinking, he goes, how'd you get into business? And I said, seriously? Kind of looking at him, right?
Right.
I go, my brother. He goes, who's your brother? I said, we're Animal. He goes, oh my God, I'm so happy I didn't hear that before, because I'm not sure if I would have taken this meeting.
That's great.
Right? Because I don't know what happened between him and the Road Warriors,
Right.
but obviously, I think the crew was very nervous. I was involved in the last Nitro, obviously, because Eric had kind of left, And when they said, who do we talk to? I dealt with Kevin Dunn directly from a production standpoint on timing. How much time did they need for the end of that show and stuff like that.
This was your first interaction with Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, I first reached out to Kevin, and he didn't reach out to me for like a week. I kept calling him every day, but he didn't know who I was.
Right.
And I didn't really know who he was, right? But he tells the stories. He goes, yeah, he was just a pain. I finally called him back, and the kid had his shit together. Because I already had a format, and how much time do you need on the end? Just tell me. You need 10 minutes, you need 8, you need 16, you need a half hour.
Is this for the final Nitro?
Yeah.
So you knew a week in advance that before it was okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I knew it was coming, and
Yep.
I knew that Shane was coming in, and
Yep.
I was approached by the company to take it back over. I know that they had some people doing it throughout the years. I didn't really want to do it, but I will say that I was a company guy. So, if that's the position that they needed me in, that's the position I'll stay in.
Do you remember who you took over for? I don't remember.
I don't even remember. Well, I think, was it Mark Carano?
Oh, what? Okay, it was
Mark Carano, I think, was
okay, yeah, Mark left
working.
because of the Mickey James thing or something.
Mark was taking it over, and then they were moving me in.
Okay.
And then the Mickey James stuff happened.
That's right. Okay. I mean, I wouldn't be doing my job if I wasn't going to ask you questions about the allegations and the whole Janelle Grant thing. I guess I'm going to ask you, and you could answer however you
I'll
see
tell
fit.
you. I'll address it for you.
Okay.